Alex had always been a simple guy. He lived in a small apartment in a busy city, just getting by day to day. Life was calm, with no big surprises until one fateful day when things changed. It all started when Alex received an email that looked like spam. The subject line read, "Looking for a roommate? We have something special for you?" At first, Alex didn't even open it. He was used to getting random offers from landlords and websites. But something made him pause. It wasn't the usual email. After a few moments of hesitation, he decided to check it out. The message was odd. It talked about a special roommate program for people willing to live with someone from another planet. Alex thought it was a joke at first, but then he saw the official-looking seal at the bottom of the email. He shrugged, figuring it was some sort of marketing campaign. What did he have to lose? He clicked on the link and filled out a quick form. Not thinking much of it, a week later, Alex was shocked when he received a follow-up message. The email said he had been selected for the program. His new roommate, Lyra, would be arriving soon. The message also explained that Lyra was an alien, sent to Earth for a peacekeeping mission. She would observe human customs and culture, helping her planet learn more about Earth. There were instructions on how to prepare the apartment and how to make Lyra feel welcome at first. Alex thought it was a scam. How could someone from another planet just show up? But the email looked too real. His curiosity got the best of him, and he prepared for the unknown. The day Lyra arrived, Alex was still unsure. He'd read a lot of sci-fi books, but nothing had prepared him for this. He opened the door to find a tall, graceful figure standing in front of him. Lyra looked human at first glance, but there was something about her that was definitely different. Her skin had a light blue tint. Her eyes were large and glowing. Her long hair shimmered with streaks of silver. She gave Alex a warm smile, and her voice was soft and melodic as she introduced herself. "Hello, Alex. I'm Lyra, your new roommate." Alex was speechless. He just stared at her for a moment, wondering if he was dreaming. He managed to invite her in, still trying to process what was happening. Lyra seemed completely at ease, stepping into the apartment as if it was just another day for her. She carried a small suitcase with strange symbols on it, and her clothes were unlike anything Alex had ever seen, sleek, metallic, and flowing. They sat down, and Alex asked her questions, trying to make sense of this new reality. Lyra explained her mission, telling him about her planet's interest in human culture and how she had volunteered for this assignment. She was polite, friendly, and had an air of confidence about her, like she'd been on many missions before. "You don't need to worry about me," Lyra said with a smile. "I'll try my best to adapt to your world." Alex, however, was still struggling to grasp the situation. He offered her a drink, hoping it would help break the ice. Lyra had no idea what human drinks were, so Alex suggested she'd try water first. She agreed, taking a small sip and then staring at the glass, as if trying to understand it. "I have a lot to learn," Lyra admitted, her eyes lighting up with interest. "But that's why I'm here." Over the next few days, Alex did his best to help Lyra adjust to Earth. He showed her how to use the TV remote, explained how money worked, and taught her the basics of human behavior. It was awkward at first, and Lyra often asked strange questions. She didn't fully understand things like sarcasm or humor, and sometimes Alex had to explain basic human emotions, which she found fascinating. One night, Alex came home from work to find Lyra standing in the kitchen, looking confused. She had tried to cook, but everything was a disaster. There was flour everywhere, and the kitchen smelled like burnt food. She turned to Alex with wide eyes. "I thought I followed the recipe correctly," she said in a calm voice, despite the mess. "But this is not how it was supposed to turn out." Alex couldn't help but laugh. "It's okay. Cooking is hard for most humans too." He helped her clean up the mess, and they decided to order takeout instead. As the days went by, their awkwardness turned into something more comfortable. They found themselves laughing together more often, especially when Lyra made mistakes or misunderstood things. Alex started to look forward to coming home, curious to see what Lyra would learn next. Despite their differences, Alex felt like he was learning a lot too. There was something about Lyra's presence that was calming. Curiosity and open-mindedness made him feel like anything was possible. However, one morning, things took a strange turn. Alex woke up to a heavy weight pressing down on him. He opened his eyes and froze in shock. Lyra was sitting on top of him, looking completely unaware of the situation. She was kneeling on his chest, her expression calm and serene. Her hands were folded neatly in her lap, and she seemed lost in thought. Alex's heart raced, and he quickly pushed himself up, causing Lyra to blink in confusion. She hadn't realized that she was on top of him, and her calm demeanor only made the situation more awkward. "I didn't mean to do that," Lyra said quickly, standing up and stepping back. "In my culture, this is a sign of respect." Alex, still trying to recover from the shock, nodded slowly. "Oh, okay. I guess we have a lot of cultural differences to work out." Lyra looked embarrassed, which was unusual for her. She apologized again and promised she would try to better understand human customs. Alex, still unsure how to react, just smiled awkwardly, feeling a little embarrassed himself. That morning marked the beginning of a new chapter in their unlikely friendship. Alex realized that living with an alien roommate was going to be full of surprises, but maybe, just maybe, it would also be a journey that he'd never. The days after the incident were full of awkward but funny moments. Alex tried his best to understand how to live with an alien roommate, and Lyra worked hard to adapt to Earth's ways. Despite their differences, they were getting along, and Alex found himself looking forward to their conversations. Ada was still learning, but her curiosity about the world around her kept things interesting. One morning, Alex woke up to the sound of a soft hum. He opened his eyes, blinking in the early light. Something felt strange. He turned his head to see what the noise was, but before he could react, he felt a weight on his chest. He froze, his eyes widening in shock. There was Lyra sitting on top of him, her legs on either side of his body, looking completely relaxed and unaware of the situation. Her eyes were closed, and she was humming a soft tune under her breath, as if in some kind of deep thought. She looked peaceful, but the position she was in made Alex's heart race. Alex's mind spun. What just happened? He had never expected something like this, and he certainly didn't know how to handle it. For a moment, he just lay there, unsure of what to do. He didn't want to freak out, but this was not how he imagined waking up. Finally, he cleared his throat and gently tapped her arm. Lyra." Her eyes opened slowly, and she looked down at him in confusion. "Oh, I didn't mean to. I thought this was how I should wake you up." She quickly stood up, brushing herself off and stepping back, clearly embarrassed. Alex sat up, his heart still racing. He didn't know what to say. "You thought that was normal?" Lyra nodded, looking sheepish. "In my culture, sitting like this is a sign of respect. I thought it would help you start the day with a calm mind." Alex couldn't help but chuckle at the situation, despite how awkward it was. "In my culture, that's not really how we wake up." Lyra blinked, trying to understand. "I see. I apologize if I startled you. I will learn more about your customs." Alex smiled at her sincerity. "It's okay. You just have to communicate better, that's all." He ran a hand through his messy hair, still trying to shake off the surprise.
"Next time, maybe just
"A little less. Sitting on top of me." Lyra looked down at the floor, nodding. "Understood. I will adjust." As the day went on, things were a little quieter than usual. Alex found himself looking at Lyra a bit differently after the incident. She was so innocent in her actions, always trying to fit in and do the right thing, even when she had no idea what that was. It was hard not to admire her determination, even though it sometimes led to embarrassing situations. Later that afternoon, Alex decided to take Lyra out for a walk to help her understand human behavior a little better. He figured it would be a good opportunity for her to see how humans interacted in public, especially when they weren't in the safety of their own homes. Lyra was excited about the outing. She dressed in her usual sleek metallic clothing, and Alex had to admit she looked stunning. Her unique appearance always made her stand out, but it didn't seem to bother her. She was confident despite being so new to Earth. They walked down the street, and Alex pointed out various things along the way. He explained the different stores, the traffic rules, and the strange habits of human society. Lyra was fascinated by everything, asking questions about things he took for granted. She marveled at the way people walked in the park, the strange machines called vending machines that dispensed food, and how humans greeted each other with handshakes. As they passed a small cafe, Lyra noticed the line of people waiting for coffee. She asked, "Why do people stand in line for a drink? Is it a ritual?" Alex laughed. "It's not really a ritual, but more of a daily habit. Some people love coffee. It helps them wake up and get going." Lyra's eyes lit up. "Interesting. In my culture, we drink something similar, but it has a different purpose. It's not for waking up, but for calming the mind." "Maybe you should try some," Alex suggested. "You can grab a cup and I'll introduce you to Earth's coffee." Culture. The two of them walked inside the cafe, where the barista gave them both curious looks. Alex quickly ordered the coffees, one regular and one with a bit of cream and sugar, since he figured Lyra might enjoy it that way. When they sat down, Alex couldn't help but notice that Lyra's eyes were wide with curiosity as she examined the cup in front of her. She gingerly took a sip, then paused. Her eyes widened even more, and she looked at Alex. "This is amazing," Lyra said, clearly delighted. "It's warm and smooth, but with a sharp taste. What is this drink called again?" "It's coffee," Alex replied with a grin. "Welcome to Earth." Lyra took another sip, then looked out the window. Thoughtfully, "It's funny. I never thought I'd be learning so much about your world. I thought I would just observe and gather data, but instead I'm experiencing it." She looked back at Alex and smiled. "I'm glad I came here. You've been kind to me, even though we come from such different worlds." Alex felt a warmth spread through him at her words. "I'm glad you're here too. You're different, but in a good way." They spent the rest of the afternoon talking about their cultures and learning more about each other's worlds. Lyra shared stories about her planet, how peaceful and calm it was, with beautiful landscapes and advanced technology. Alex listened, fascinated by the idea of an entirely different civilization, as the day came to a close and they walked back home. Alex felt a strange sense of peace. Despite the awkwardness, despite the misunderstandings, he was starting to enjoy having Lyra around. She might have woken him up in the strangest way possible, but maybe that was just the beginning of something unexpected. After a few weeks of living together, Alex and Lyra had found a strange sense of comfort in each other's company. The awkwardness of their first meeting had turned into something deeper, something that felt like a real friendship. Despite their differences, Alex felt like he was learning a lot from Lyra, and she seemed to be learning from him too. She had an unshakable curiosity about everything on Earth, and Alex had become her guide in many ways. They spent a lot of time together watching TV shows, trying out new foods, and just talking. The more Alex learned about her, the more fascinated he became. Lyra's planet was beautiful and peaceful, but she often spoke about how everything was controlled and orderly. There was no room for spontaneity, no room for fun or surprises. Everything was designed to be efficient. But Earth, Lyra had come to realize, was chaotic, messy, and full of surprises. And somehow, she liked it that way. One afternoon, after a long day of learning about human history, Alex and Lyra sat on the couch, enjoying a quiet evening. Lyra had just finished reading a book Alex had lent her about human art. She looked up at him, her eyes wide with excitement. "Alex, I've been thinking," she said, her voice full of energy. "There's so much I want to understand about your world. How do you humans deal with chaos?" "On my planet, everything is controlled. People do what they're supposed to do at all times. But on Earth, things seem unpredictable. How do you live like this?" Alex thought for a moment. "Guess we just get used to it. We try to make sense of the chaos, but sometimes we just roll with it. There's beauty in unpredictability. I think that's what makes life exciting." Lyra nodded slowly, clearly trying to wrap her mind around the idea. "See, it's like how I've been trying to learn about your world. Every day is something new, and I'm starting to understand that I don't always need to control everything. I think I'm starting to like the uncertainty." Alex smiled at her. "I'm glad. It's not always easy, but it's definitely worth it." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden sound from outside the window. It was a loud, screeching noise that seemed to shake the apartment. Alex jumped to his feet, and Lyra's expression immediately became serious. "What was that?" she asked, her voice calm but sharp with concern. "I don't know," Alex replied, moving to the window to look outside. What he saw made his heart race. A large ship unlike anything he'd ever seen before hovered above the city. It was metallic and sleek, glowing with strange lights. Alex's first instinct was to call the authorities, but Lyra was already on her feet, moving quickly to the door. "No," she said urgently. "This isn't a normal ship. I've seen these before. They're not friendly." Alex turned to her, confusion flooding his mind. "What do you mean? What are they?" Lyra's eyes were serious, and she spoke in a low, controlled voice. "They are part of an alien faction that doesn't believe in peace. They've been trying to infiltrate Earth for years. They've been hiding, waiting for the right moment to strike." Alex was stunned. "You mean they're here to attack us?" Lyra nodded. "It's possible. We need to be ready. But first, I need to get something from my ship," without waiting for Alex to respond. Lyra rushed to her room. Alex stood frozen for a moment, trying to process what she had just said, an alien faction that wanted to hurt Earth. He hadn't even begun to think about the dangers Lyra might be facing. A few minutes later, Lyra returned with a small, sleek device in her hand. It was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. She held it out to him. "This is a communicator. It'll allow me to contact my people back on my planet. But I need to be careful. If they know I'm here, they might try to use me to help them attack Earth." Alex didn't know what to say. He'd always thought of Lyra as a friend, a curious alien who was just trying to learn about humans. But now, everything had changed. This was serious. "We need to figure out what to do," Alex said, his voice steady, despite the growing panic in his chest. "But I have no idea how to stop them." Lyra's gaze softened as she placed a hand on his shoulder. "We'll figure it out together." Alex nodded, feeling both terrified and oddly reassured. He had no idea what was about to happen, but one thing was certain: he couldn't face it alone. Lyra, his alien roommate, had become more than just a guest in his home. She was someone he trusted. And now, he had to trust her more than ever. Lyra's voice broke through his thoughts. "I'll need to go to their ship to confront them. It's the only way to stop them from attacking." Alex's heart raced. "Are you sure? That sounds dangerous?" "It is," Lyra admitted, her eyes serious. "But if we don't stop them, Earth will be in danger. I can't let that happen." Alex looked at her, his mind swirling with questions. Was he really ready to help her face something like this? They had only just begun to understand each other's worlds. But as he saw the determination in Lyra's eyes, he realized that no matter what, he couldn't let her face this alone. "I'll help you," Alex said, his voice firm. Lyra gave him a small smile. "Thank you. We may not be from the same planet, but we're in this together." Together, they prepared for the worst. Lyra quickly explained the layout of the alien ship and how to get inside. She handed Alex a small communicator, telling him to stay in contact with her in case anything went wrong, as they set out to face the alien faction. Alex realized that everything was about to change. But no matter what happened, he knew one thing. For sure, this unexpected alliance with Lyra was about to take them both on a journey unlike anything they had ever imagined. Alex couldn't believe what was happening. Just a few days ago, everything had seemed normal. But now an alien ship was hovering above the city, and Lyra was telling him that they were part of a dangerous faction. This wasn't just some misunderstanding. It was real. They stood in the living room, the strange device Lyra had given him still in his hand. It felt heavy now, full of responsibility. He had no idea what was going to happen next, but he knew he had to help Lyra. "We need to figure out what to do," Alex said, pacing back and forth. "Shouldn't we warn someone? Call the military or something?"
Lyra
shook her head. "That would make it worse. The moment we make contact with the authorities, the aliens will know I'm here. They'll take me, and they'll use me against Earth." Alex stopped pacing and turned to look at her. "They'll attack anyway, right?" Lyra nodded gravely. Yes, it's just a matter of when. Alex felt a wave of panic rising in his chest. He had never been in a situation like this before. How could he help stop an alien attack? He wasn't a soldier or a spy. He was just a regular guy living in a city, trying to make ends meet. We don't have much time, Lyra said, as if reading his thoughts. We need to get to their ship. I'll confront them. If we can stop them before they strike, we might have a chance. Alex's heart raced. Are you serious? You want us to go there? To their ship? Lyra's expression softened. I know it's dangerous, but it's the only way. You have to trust me. I faced worse. He didn't know what to say. Part of him wanted to turn away, pretend none of this was happening. But then he looked at Lyra. She wasn't just some alien anymore. She was his friend, someone who had come to Earth not to cause trouble, but to understand it. She had helped him adjust to her strange world, and now it was his turn to help her. Okay, Alex said, his voice steady. Let's do it. Need a plan. Lyra smiled, her eyes filled with gratitude. We'll figure it out, but we need to move quickly. They grabbed the small communicator Lyra had given Alex, which now felt like their only lifeline. Lyra led the way, moving quickly and confidently, and Alex followed, his thoughts racing. They arrived at the building where the alien ship had landed. It was a tall, imposing structure in the middle of the city, and the ship hovered just above. Alex could see strange, glowing lights coming from its underside, flickering in a way that made him uneasy. The whole scene felt surreal. Lyra turned to Alex. We'll have to sneak inside. The ship is heavily guarded. If we're caught, it will be over before we even start. Alex nodded. He didn't like the idea of sneaking around, but he knew it was their only option. They moved through the shadows, avoiding the guards and trying to stay out of sight. As they approached the ship, Alex's heart pounded in his chest. He had no idea what to expect, but he wasn't about to back out now. Lyra stopped suddenly, holding up a hand. She motioned for Alex to stay still. A group of alien guards passed by, their movements slow and deliberate. Alex held his breath, praying they wouldn't notice them. After what felt like an eternity, the guards finally passed. Lyra let out a soft sigh of relief. We're almost there.
Yes.
Follow me. They continued toward the ship's entrance, where a large metal door stood open. Just enough for them to slip through unnoticed. As they entered the ship, Alex's senses were overwhelmed. The interior was sleek and metallic, with walls that seemed to pulse with energy. The air smelled faintly of ozone, and strange humming noises filled the space. Stay close, Lyra whispered. We need to find the control room. They moved through the ship, trying to stay as quiet as possible. Iris seemed to know exactly where she was going, her eyes scanning the hallways as they passed. Finally, they reached a large door with strange symbols etched into it. Lyra pressed a small button on the side, and the door slid open with a soft hiss. Inside was a room filled with alien technology computers, monitors and devices Alex didn't recognize. The walls were lined with glowing panels, and in the center of the room was a large chair with straps. This is it, Lyra said, her voice low. I need to use the control center to contact my people. If I can send a signal, we can stop the attack before it happens. Alex looked around, feeling both amazed and terrified. This was nothing like anything he had seen in the movies. It was real, and it was happening right in front of him. Lyra stepped forward and began to operate the controls, her fingers moving quickly over the buttons. As she worked, Alex kept a lookout, his nerves on edge. He had no idea if they were about to be caught, or if this would even work. But he had to believe that Lyra knew what she was doing. Just as Lyra was about to send the signal, the door behind them slammed open with a loud crash. Alex spun around to see a group of alien soldiers standing in the doorway, their weapons aimed at them. Lyra stepped in front of Alex, her expression determined. You won't stop me, she said, her voice calm but firm. I will stop this attack, no matter what it takes. One of the soldiers stepped forward, his voice cold. You're too late, Lyra. You cannot stop what has already been set in motion. Alex's stomach dropped. He had no idea what was going to happen next, but he knew one thing for sure. They were in deep trouble. The situation had gone from bad to worse. Alex and Lyra were trapped in the alien ship's control room, surrounded by hostile soldiers. Lyra stood protectively in front of Alex, her hands raised in a defensive stance. Her eyes locked on the soldiers who had just entered. Alex's heart was racing. He didn't know what to do. They were outnumbered, and their plan to stop the alien attack was hanging by a thread. But Lyra wasn't backing down. She wasn't scared. She was determined to stop whatever the alien faction had planned. "Too late, Lyra," one of the alien soldiers said, his voice cold and emotionless. "The attack has already been set in motion. There's nothing you can do to stop it now." Lyra didn't move, her face hardening. "I won't let you destroy Earth. I'm not going to let my people's mistake become your war." The alien soldier chuckled darkly. "It's not just a mistake, Lyra. You were never supposed to be here in the first place. Your mission was never about Pasite, was always about control." Alex, still trying to make sense of everything, felt a chill run down his spine. "Control?" he repeated, his voice shaky. "What are you talking about?" Lyra's gaze flicked to Alex, then back to the soldier. She stepped forward, her eyes now filled with determination. "I've learned the truth. This mission wasn't to observe human culture. It was to prepare Earth for invasion. My people sent me here to gather intel, to help pave the way for the real invasion that was supposed to happen once Earth was weakened." Enough. Alex couldn't believe what he was hearing. His mind was spinning. "But you were supposed to be helping Earth. I thought you were here to learn about us, to make things better. I thought you were my friend." Lyra's eyes softened at his words, but the pain in her voice was clear. "I never wanted to deceive you, Alex. I truly believed I was doing the right thing when I first came here. But when I saw how Earth was, how humans fought for what they believed in, I realized how wrong my mission was. I couldn't be a part of it anymore." The soldier's expression turned to one of irritation. "Yeah, you think you can just walk away from this, Lyra? You can't stop what's already been set in motion. Fleet is already in position." Alex turned to look at Lyra, his mind racing. What's going to happen? What is the fleet going to do? Lyra closed her eyes for a moment, gathering her thoughts. The fleet will attack Earth. It's an overwhelming force designed to crush any resistance. They plan to invade, destroy the Earth's defenses, and enslave its people. I was meant to assist them, to guide the invasion. But now that I know the truth, I won't let it happen. I have to stop them." Just then, another voice interrupted, coming from behind the soldiers. "You think you can stop the invasion, Lyra? You're one alien, and you've already been compromised. The fleet will crush you, just like it will crush Earth." A tall, menacing figure stepped forward from the shadows. He was different from the others. His armor was more elaborate, and there was a look of authority in his eyes. He was clearly the leader of the group. Lyra's eyes widened when she saw him. "Narok," she whispered. "I should have known." The leader of the soldiers, Narok, grinned. "So, you figured it out, did you? You always were too idealistic. For your own good, Lyra, you've never understood how things really work. Your planet was never meant to be peaceful. It's meant to be ruled, just like every other world in the galaxy." Lyra stepped forward, her fists clenched. "I won't let you do this. I won't be a part of this invasion anymore. If you want Earth, you'll have to go through me." Narok's smile faded, and he raised his weapon. "You've made a mistake, Lyra, and now you'll pay the price." Before anything else could happen, Alex acted without thinking. He grabbed the small communicator that Lyra had given him earlier and ran toward the control panel. His hands shook as he tried to make sense of the buttons and symbols. The room was filled with tension as Narok and his soldiers focused on Lyra. "Lyra, I don't have much time," Alex called out, his voice filled with urgency. "I need your help. What do I do to stop them?" Lyra's eyes darted to him. "Activate the override. It's the only way to stop the fleet." Alex's heart was pounding in his chest, but he quickly searched through the control panel. Found a button with a glowing red symbol. He didn't know if it was the right one, but he had to try. He pressed it. The ship's lights flickered, and a loud alarm began to blare throughout the room. "No!" Narok shouted.
At!
"What have you done?" The walls began to shake as the ship's systems powered down. The large screens around the room showed images of the fleet above Earth. They were quickly replaced with an error message. "Connection lost. Fleet standby disabled." Lyra's face lit up with hope. "You did it, Alex. You've stopped the fleet." Narok's face twisted in anger. "You'll regret this. You're just one human. You can't stop the galaxy from following its course." But before he could do anything, the doors to the control room slammed open and more soldiers entered, trying to stop them. Lyra took a step back, her eyes now filled with purpose. "This isn't over yet," she said, her voice steady. "But we've bought ourselves some time." Alex turned to Lyra, his heart still racing. "What now? How do we fix this? How do we make sure Earth is safe?" Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "We'll go back to my ship. I'll contact my people and show them what's happening here. I've already exposed the truth. There's no going back for Narok and his faction. They won't be able to stop what we've started." Alex nodded, feeling a sense of relief for the first time since this whole nightmare began. They had a long road ahead of them, but now, at least, they had a chance. The control room was silent except for the soft hum of the ship's power system trying to reboot. The alien soldiers were either immobilized or had retreated into the shadows, and Narok, the leader of the invading force, had been forced to withdraw. Alex and Lyra stood in the middle of the room, both feeling a strange mixture of relief and anxiety. Alex took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart. The weight of what they had just done hung heavy in the air. They had stopped the invasion. For now, but they both knew that it wasn't over. The battle wasn't just physical. It was going to be a fight for the future of Earth and the peaceful intentions Lyra had originally come here with. Lyra stood beside him, her hands clenched into fists at her sides. She was calm, but Alex could see the emotion in her eyes. This was the moment she had been waiting for. This was where her mission truly began. "We've stopped the fleet, but this is just the beginning." "Alex," Lyra said quietly, her voice full of resolve. "There's still so much to do. Narok and his faction won't give up. They'll regroup and try again." Alex nodded. "So what do we do now?" Lyra turned to him, her expression softened but filled with determination. "We go to my ship. I need to send a message back to my planet. I need to warn them that Narok is leading a rebellion and that we must stop him before he gets any stronger." Alex felt a pang of fear at the thought of what was coming next, but he nodded again. "I'm with you, whatever it takes." Lyra smiled faintly, clearly grateful for his support. "Thank you. You've been more helpful than I could have ever imagined. I wasn't sure how I would manage on Earth, but you've made all the difference." Before they could continue, the door to the control room opened, and a group of peaceful alien diplomats who had been following Lyra's mission stepped inside. They had heard the alarm and come to investigate, Lyra, one of them said, his voice warm. "We've seen the news. The fleet's been disabled. What's happening?" Lyra stepped forward, her gaze meeting theirs with a calm but urgent tone. "The faction that Narok leads was planning to attack Earth. They wanted to conquer the planet. But I've stopped them for now." The alien diplomat looked around the room, noticing the damage caused by the confrontation. "It's a good thing you acted fast. But Narok is a powerful leader. He won't take this lightly. We need to prepare for what comes next." Alex watched the exchange, unsure of what to say. Lyra's world was full of danger, and he had no idea how deep the conflict ran. But he did know one thing: he couldn't just stand by and do nothing. "We need to get back to Earth," Alex said suddenly. "We need to warn the humans, too. They have no idea what's going on." Lyra's eyes flicked to him. "You're right. We need to act fast." They all made their way to the ship's docking bay, where Lyra's vessel was waiting. It was sleek and metallic, with a smooth surface that seemed to shimmer as the light from the distant stars reflected off it. Alex couldn't help but feel awestruck by it. It was like nothing he'd ever seen before. Once aboard, Lyra immediately started working on the communication systems. Alex stayed by her side, watching as she typed in commands, her fingers moving. Quickly over the controls, this will send a signal to my planet's council, Lyra explained. I need to tell them what happened and warn them about Narok's plans. The ship's systems hummed to life as the message was transmitted. The tension in the air seemed to lift slightly, but the danger was far from over. They still had to make sure the humans were safe, and they had to prepare for the next battle. A few moments later, the ship's communication system beeped, signaling a response. Lyra's face remained neutral as she read the message. She turned. To Alex, her expression serious. They know about Narok now, she said, and they're sending reinforcements to Earth, but it'll take time. We have to hold the line here. Can't let Narok take control. Alex felt a mix of relief and worry. The reinforcements were coming, but it wouldn't be fast enough to stop Narok's faction from making another move. He turned to Lyra, who was still looking at the communication screen. Lyra, what happens if the reinforcements don't arrive in time? What if Narok tries again? Lyra looked at him, her eyes filled with determination. Then we fight. Together. Alex nodded. He had never imagined that he would be caught in the middle of an intergalactic struggle, but now that he was, there was no turning back. He had come this far, and he wasn't about to give up now, as the ship soared through space. Heading back toward Earth, Alex couldn't help but reflect on everything that had happened. He had gone from an ordinary guy with a quiet life to someone who was now an ally to an alien peacekeeper. Lyra had changed his world in more ways than he could count, but the road ahead was uncertain. The battle wasn't over, and there were many more challenges to come. It would need to stay united no matter how hard things got. Lyra turned to Alex, a small smile on her face. We've done something important today. We can't stop now. The fate of Earth is in our hands. Alex looked out the window of the ship, seeing the distant blue planet growing closer. He knew this was just the beginning of something much larger than either of them could have imagined. Whatever came next, he would face it by Lyra's side. They had a long road ahead of them, but together they could change the future.